Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran, Udhur the Jews, al-Quran and Spirits, and we continue reading from Surah Al-Qamar, the moon, and we have reached the different peoples who suffered punishment, severe punishment for their disbelief, rejection, and directly disobeying and just challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them prophets and they did not listen, did not heed, and they were not only disbelievers, but they have committed different things as we will inshallah read. So we'll start with عاد. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كذبت عاد فكيف كان عذابي ونذر. Also, Ad also rejected the truth, and Ad basically they are the people of Prophet Hud alayhi salam, who is believed to be buried in Yemen. There is very close to in Hadramaut really. So Ad also rejected the truth. Then how dreadful were my punishment and warnings. إنا أرسلنا عليهم ريحا صرصرا في يوم نحس مستمر. Indeed, we sent against them a furious wind on a day of unrelenting misery. Like screaming wind, a bitter screaming wind. And it's, I think I will mention, inshallah, in a minute, something that I saw myself. تنزع الناس كأنهم أعجاز. So this wind snatched people up, leaving them like trunks of uprooted palm trees. فكيف كان عذابي ونذر ولقد يسرنا القرآن للذكر فهل من مدكر. Then it moves on to Thamud, and we have certainly made the Quran easy to remember. So is there anyone who will be mindful? We have unrelenting misery, ongoing misery probably, for, as Ibn Kathir said, rahmullah, because their punishment connects the punishment in this dunya, in this life, and the hereafter. So from punishment to punishment. Now the Rih Sarsar that left them like uprooted trunk or trunks of palm trees. That they have been uprooted. This is really the books of tafsir, and of course it means they have been. I'm sure that you have seen tornadoes, and these tornadoes not only could carry people. Sometimes you can see even they're so powerful that you can see trucks flying. And I visited a place in Cincinnati many years ago. I visited a place in almost 20 years ago. I visited a place in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the United States, where a tornado really went through a neighborhood, and the path of the tornado, the tornado literally shaved the houses. Like you would know that there was a house here, but nothing else. You have the pavement, but nothing else is left. And it was said that a couple were found a mile away from where their home was. So wind could be very powerful. Another thing that I would like to mention that could help us understand the notion of munqa'ir. Of course, uprooted trees. If the wind reaches 700 miles per hour, it could rip the flesh of the skeleton, and this might be also the notion of munqa'ir, because if you say in Arabic قعر البئر, it is deep inside. Okay, anything that has قعر, it is deep inside. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. But it was a very severe punishment. To Thamud, كذبت ثمود بالنذر. Thamud rejected the warnings as well, like Ad. فقالوا أبشرا منا واحدا نتبعه إنا إذا لفي ضلال وسعر. Arguing, how can we follow one average? واحدا منا. This is something that the one reason why the Meccans, the polytheists, the leaders of course, rejected Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They wanted the revelation to be sent to رجل من قريتين عظيم, a great man, alluding to themselves, someone really from amongst the leaders, rather than than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Really, the story of the prophets is first of all is a story of rejection, and many of them were rejected by their own families, their immediate families, their wives, Nuh and Lut alayhim salam, Noah and Lot, by their children, one of the children of Nuh alayhi salam. So that's, and some of them had, it's not up to them, of course, the results, but some of them did not have many followers, again, like Nuh alayhi salam, a handful. وما آمن معه إلا. So they said, فقالوا أبشرا منا واحدا نتبعه إنا إذا لفي ضلال وسعر. So they argued, how can we follow one human being from among us, واحدا من, an average person? We would then truly be misguided and insane. ألقي الذكر عليه من بيننا بل هو كذاب أشر. Has the revelation been sent down only to him out of all of us? In fact, he is a boastful liar. Yeah. So they say that about the prophets, they have lied, they are magicians, they are insane. سيعلمون غدا من الكذاب والأشر. It was revealed to their prophets, to Salih, they will soon know the boastful liar. Oh, who is? So they said it's the grazing land in the desert. When it dries and it is burnt, and the wind will, it's just like the notion of the dust bowl, will toss it around. But here it's not about the twigs, it's the people who become like the twigs. It's about the nature of the sound. And we spoke about we spoke before about the different levels of sound. So when on one level, the sound can burst the lungs, like 185 to 200 decibels. Less than this, it can rupture the eardrums, and if it's more than this, in fact, there are also bursting the lungs. That's if the lungs burst, it's immediate mortality. So when we read about Sayha, Allahu Alam, the strength of this blast, but it's a sound that killed them. That blast killed them so severe that they became like dry twigs. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. And we have certainly made the Quran easy to remember. So is there anyone who will be mindful? To the people of Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam, to people of Lot, كذبت قوم لوط بالنذر. The people of Lot also rejected the warnings, all of them, except for his daughters. Even his wife rejected him. And some people were distinguished from others by behaving in a specific way. Some, like the people of Lut alayhi salam, committed they were homosexuals. The angels who came to the people of they were the guests of Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam. Of course, they showed up in anthropomorphic form, and they really demanded, they wanted them. And of course, we talk about the angels. They came in the form of handsome men, and they have lusted, those men of the people of Lut alayhi salam. They have lusted after those angels, and the angels told Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam that that he should leave with his family in the morning, except for his wife. She was doomed. So the people of Lut alayhi salam rejected the warnings. كذبت قوم لوط بالنذر إنا أرسلنا عليهم حاصبا إلا آل لوط نجيناهم بسحر. We unleashed upon them a storm of stones. As for the believers, the part of his family, we delivered them before dawn, because they were pious, they were believers, they did not participate or approve in the behavior of their people. And it's not a problem of hospitality, as some people try to divert the discussion rather than homosexuality, because they themselves, and it's really an outrageous claim that in some writings you have a handful of people who say that they are Muslims, and they say that the Quran does not prohibit homosexuals, and there was and establishing this at one point they established a virtual mosque for themselves. Then there was in Washington DC a mosque. The Imam was homosexual and his followers were homosexuals. A few. So we don't talk about. They found a place where they can, and then they at one point they advertised a retreat where they could gather. And in that advertisement, they said, no alcohol or drugs, but you can bring your partner. Imagine this. Imagine a retreat. No alcohol or drugs. If you talk about an Islamic the serious Islamic conferences, retreats, they never say no drugs or alcohol. They never say no drugs or alcohol. Not that they invite you to bring alcohol and drugs. It goes without saying. It's an Islamic thing. And the severe punishment, is because of this, because of their homosexuality. Mind you, giving legitimacy to same-sex marriage. And it's one thing to commit the grave sin. It's another to legalize it, and that's a challenge. That's a challenge. Yeah, they are challenging Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and what we are seeing right now. That just may Allah Subhanahu wa Taala protect this ummah, and may Allah Subhanahu wa Taala guide humanity to the right path. Though one would wish that those who are responsible for genocides and for corruption on earth, they will themselves be punished. But you'd wish guidance for everyone. But with all that's going on, steering away from the right path, from the straight path, one understand what does it mean that the day of judgment will unfold when only the worst of people are still there. And what's worse is in the biblical, in the Torah, as I say, as is, because it suffered from the beggars of transmission. All the prophets are infallible in the Quran, with no exception. And in the Old Testament, in the Bible, in the Torah, they attribute incest to Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam. That after he left with his two daughters, that's the biblical narrative. The daughters said there are no men around, and they gave their father wine, and he became drunk. And the eldest daughter, she slept with him the first night, and then the younger daughter. And then you talk about the offspring. What a shame! What a shame! Not the behavior. What a shame of those who attribute these things to Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam and those who believe in these things, and they attribute adultery to Sayyidina Dawud alayhi salam. And as Ahmad Didat rahimahullah said once, that if you talk about censorship for explicit material, the Bible will be censored. So the saving Lut alayhi salam, it's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. نعمة من عندنا, as blessing from us. كذلك نجزي من. This is how we reward whoever gives thanks. وَلَقَدْ أَنذَرَهُمْ بَطْشَتَنَا فَتَمَارَوْا بِالنُّذُرِ. He had already warned them of our crushing blow, but they disputed the warnings. وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدُوهُ عَنْ ضَيْفِهِ فَطَمَسْنَا أَعْيُنَهُمْ فَذُوقُوا عَذَابِي وَنُذُرِ. And they even demanded his angel gifts from him, so we blinded their eyes, and they were told, taste then my punishment and warnings. وَلَقَدْ صَبَّ عَذَابٌ مُسْتَقِرٌ. Indeed, by the early morning they were overwhelmed by unrelenting torment. فَذُوقُوا عَذَابِي وَنُذُرِ. Again they were told, taste now my punishment and warnings. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Verse 41 begins with the Al-Fir'aun, and inshallah we will leave this to the following session بإذن الله عز وجل. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك ورحمة الله وبركاته.